in this episode of Artists of the Chippewa Valley. And actually, we should probably be calling this show Artists of the Chippewa Valley and Beyond. Way beyond. We're not just talking across the border in Minnesota, but we're talking Japan, even Germany. We are at the U.S. Open Chainsaw Sculpture Championship, and we're right here in Carson Park. The Paul Bunyan Logging Camp and Museum is sponsoring this event for the second year, and all of the money that's raised from the event is helping them do a lot of renovations and bring this event back, hopefully, for a third year in 2013. So before we get into it and we actually talk about our artists and meet some of the folks that have put this event together, we're going to take a look at the sights and sounds of all the action.
I think it's awesome here.
The detail, that's what gets you.
It's cool.
Well, we are inside now, and I am with Diane Peterson. She is the executive director here at the Paul Bunyan Logging Museum Camp. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the actual camp that's here. And you guys sort of came up with this idea to put the whole chainsaw carving competition together. Where'd you come up with that plan?
Actually, the first time we heard about it, a local carver, Greg Childs, who was here for our 75th anniversary, we were talking about fundraising and how we would not like to do another golf outing or dinner, because those are great, but everybody does them. Looking for a special niche, and he suggested a chainsaw carving championship. And so we were able to get in touch with Jamie Dornan, and he is our consultant for chainsaw carvers, and with his help and our committee, we have set up a group to hold the U.S. Open, and this is our second year of that.
And things are going well. I'm guessing everyone's having a great time from your standpoint.
Yeah, we have already, last year was our first year, and so we were hoping for about 1,000 people. This year we were hoping for about 3,000, and we've already hit that mark, and we have half of our time to go yet. So we're very pleased with the attendance and excitement.
So we said that this is a fundraiser. What kind of dollars are you hoping to raise from the event here in its second year? And tell me a little bit about what kinds of things that money is needed for here.
Well, a lot of the money will have to go back into next year as seed money, because this is only the second one, so we will have to keep some of that. Paul Bunyan Museum itself, we started in 1933, so we're in our 78th year. So obviously there's a lot of issues we have coming up. Maintenance, our log buildings have to be preserved and maintained, and that takes a fair amount of money. Our theater has not been refurbished since the 1980s. We'd like to get a big screen in there, a DVD player, some new seating. We have some exhibits we'd like to do. We've also been told about a Paul Bunyan collection that we will have at some point, memorabilia, but it's going to require new rooms, so we'll have to do construction to add on to the museum. So all those things add up, and we don't have the funds for it right now. So
like every nonprofit, you're always looking for new ways to raise money, and you're a little bit more creative here because there's nothing like you around this area, and with our heritage in the logging industry, it just seems like this is the perfect type of an event for your situation.
Yeah, it really is, because logging took place all across the United States, starting in Maine. So we have about 11,000 people here a year, and we have people from the other 49 states. We usually have 200 to 300 foreign visitors a year. So we have lots of people interested in the logging history, but our logging camp is an 1890s replica of one that would have been in Eau Claire. There was logging done here in the park, sawmills in the park, Half Moon Lake was a holding pond. So there's a lot of history here. That's really what built Eau Claire. When you look at the street names, most of them are loggers or lumber barons or camps, and so
it's a fun history, a fun event to have. What's it been like walking around the camp now, year number 2, knowing that you guys have put this all together and hearing the chainsaws and just seeing the community support?
That's been the most fun thing. The people are just so excited. We have someone who told us that she is taking her vacation next year, so she wants the dates right away. We've heard lots of stories like that. People that just are amazed that came in Thursday that said they're coming back every night for the quick carve because they just thought that was such a fun event to watch and bid on. One person told me last night that there's just nothing like this in the area, that he would love to go to more of these events and buy pieces, but this is the only one he can find, and the media has been amazing this year. The business sponsors have been incredible. We've just gotten so much support, so
that's great.
It's just been fun.
So growth is definitely on the horizon.
Absolutely. We're looking for bigger and better next year, too. So.
Okay. Well, thanks, Diane. I think we're going to go roam around and check out the rest of the action here. So,
Good, have fun.
Diane Peterson with the executive director here at the camp. We may hear more from her later, and if she gives us any additional tips or techniques, we'll pass them along to you. Who knows, maybe we have some future carvers that could be featured on Artists of the Chippewa Valley in a few years. We'll be back. I'm joined now by Jamie Dornan, who has sort of helped tie all of this together and make this event possible. Jamie, I just want to get a little bit of background here. How long have you actually been working with the camp to bring this kind of event to Eau Claire? And this is the second time, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I've been working with them for the last 2 years to build this event up. I already previously had it going, but we needed a good venue, a place to bring people in, a better location. And also my wife was getting a little mad that I had about 20 carvers staying at my house, so that was becoming an issue. And then the camp approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in helping them get an event started, and I said, take mine. It'll save my marriage, and I'll help you, and I need help, and with their manpower and their group, I figured we could put on a good event. And so we had some meetings, and we got it going. Last year we learned a lot, made some mistakes here and there, which you always do, and we just improved on them. And this year, we'll sit down, and any mistakes or any problems, we'll do the same and improve it again for the next year.
Okay. So give me a little bit of the guts of the event. How many carvers do we have here today? Where are they from? I know we've got some international talent here.
Yeah, we have probably one of the top 5 carvers in Japan here. Right now, I say top 5 over all of Japan, but he's been #1 in all the Japanese competitions of late. So, and he's really interesting to watch. We also have a couple German guys here, really good carvers. One of them is very classically trained. Another one, came out of the forestry. So we got a lot of talent here. We have 10 carvers in total, but I try to book about 12 because, somebody gets sick, planes get delayed, people break down on the way, things happen. So, we've had some misfortunes, but we've always had 10 people. We try to keep it at that. We have a limited amount of space, so we always try to get the best carvers, or we try to take them from events that have been where they have won, and then we try to pull it in. And eventually what we're hoping to build to is possibly a world competition here, where we have all the best from each country competing here for a world position. And if we can get the sponsorship and the backing from the community, it can happen within a year or two.
I think what has amazed me and impressed me the most, just coming down, being a spectator, looking around, you think, oh, you're just going to come and watch a fun event, and yeah, they're going to turn out some cool stuff. But this is serious. This is what these guys and gals do. This is their life. This is, in a lot of cases, their bread and butter. I mean, this is an actual serious competition.
Yeah, they're competing for $3,000 first place, and it's not the money. I mean, they need the money, but the Japanese paid over $3,000 a ticket to be here. So to first place to break even is what? That's nothing. They're not going to fly this far and stay here and compete in some grueling, sometimes grueling weather. Sometimes it gets pretty hot on that blacktop for $3,000. They're here for that honor of being first. So it costs money for all these guys to get here, and that's one of the things we're trying to get in the sponsorship. But these guys are competing for that first place. But in the same sense, if somebody breaks a saw or something happens, they'll loan tools, they'll give a saw, so there's a lot of camaraderie. But they're also, when they're sitting down having lunch, they're picking at each other, poking each other. But the competition in there, it's intense. You watch those guys; they're moving 90 miles an hour, just speed-wise, trying to make sure they got enough time, and it's grueling. It's tiring holding a saw, even the small saws. But you'll see that they'll take off the smallest amount of material. It's just amazing on what they're doing. They'll be putting in eyes and nose and lips and hair texture, and you're just like, is he touching the wood? And you'll see stuff flying off, and it's looking like they're not even touching anything.
And they've got some strict rules they have to follow. I mean, they can't just come and carve for a little while and go take a break and come back and hang out. And I mean, they're carving during certain times, and they've got their rules to follow.
Yeah, it's a timed event, and we do have rules. You can't have props and different things. It's pretty much chainsaw. We are pretty lax as far as you can get down to like some Dremels and chisels, but these guys are so professional, you won't see that. A guy might pull out a chisel to do some eyes, just to give it the right shape, but that's about it. They know amongst each other. There's a lot of gentlemen's rules, kind of like NASCAR, letting somebody pass and not rubbing, but you'll still see it. It's intense.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the materials they're using. Can they use just any old wood? What kind of wood works best for them? Did they bring in their own wood? Did they get it locally? How does all that work?
Well, we supply the wood, obviously, and we try to keep it close to the same size, so we have a log lottery. And so, we have 10 logs, 10 carvers. We number the logs. They all pull a number out of the hat, boom, so they get their log. We want to use white pine. It's local. It's easy to get. It's easy to maintain. And the customer, when they buy this in the auction, gets a good product. If we use a crappy wood, something that's fuzzy, like we can get big cottonwoods or different woods like that. They escape my mind right now, but they're kind of fuzzy. Even basswood, when you carve it with a chainsaw, it's too big, can't get the moisture out. It's fuzzy. The white pine finish is nice. They can make a good product. They can carve it fast enough in the limited amount of time they have, and make it look really nice and actually give a finished product. So when somebody buys it at the auction, they can just take it home and from there maintain it.
Okay. So it's one of these things that they're auctioning off a lot of these items here at the end of the day. Do they take any of these pieces home with them? Do all of these stay in the community then if they don't auction off? What happens to them?
Well, all of them have auctioned off so far. We
cool.
like to keep them in the community or just outside the community, but most of them have of late have gone to the community. They can't take them home with them because a lot of them are flying, and a lot of guys come in here from a long ways, and they have all their tools, and that's all they got room for. But we've been lucky enough that we've always auctioned them all off. But we are hoping to get some really nice prices this year. I think the quality from last year has probably doubled. It is unbelievable, the detail and the quality this year.
I've always wondered what it was like being at airport security and seeing some of these guys come through, and they've got to get their chainsaw here somehow.
Yeah.
So I've never really thought about a chainsaw in an airplane before until this event.
Well, you cannot fly with your chainsaw.
They have to ship it?
I supply most of the carvers with equipment, or most of the international carvers. And then a lot of the other carvers who drive in, they bring their own. So I have to keep a lot of equipment, and I'm a carver, so I know what they need, and I actually provide and sell and build equipment for other carvers throughout the world. So they pretty much are getting some decent equipment, and they're pretty comfortable when they come, knowing that they're going to have stuff available. You don't get that at every event. Sometimes you get there and you're like, great, and the saw is dull and there's no new chains to put on and this and that. And I try to keep it all up for them so they have an easy time. I want them to do good sculptures. I want them to have an easy time. But they do bring some chisels or some power tools and this and that. And when the security first got tight, I used to also travel, and it gets kind of hairy when they just shove their hands in your bag, and there's sharp chisels in there, and you're like, be careful,
Yeah.
but they're,
What are you gonna do?
yeah, you're just like, and they're yelling at you to stop, but, stand back, but they're shoving their hands in there, and you're like, you're gonna get cut.
So, what's it like for you to be able to walk around, see all of the people that are here? You started playing this a long time ago with the camp and with the museum folks, but to be here, day of event, weekend of event, see people having fun, getting top dollar for these items, what's that aha moment for you?
At the end, when they're all happy, when the carvers are happy, and they get good prices for everything, and the community comes out good, the museum comes out good. Financially, when everything's said and done, and we're all sitting down around the campfire and just relaxing for a little bit, that's really nice. And even in the evenings leading up to the end, we have a dinner, we sit around and talk, and that's the thing, to sit around with the carvers and hang out. They also like that you don't get to see the Japanese guys every day, and you don't get to see the German guys every day, so it's nice to hang out and share and go over times, that we've carved together in the past and that kind of thing. But, it is very nice. It's a beautiful day. We've got lots of people out here, a lot of great carvings. Just as the people come in and out, it's like great. It's all coming together.
Yep.
It's awesome.
And you kicking off your shoes and sitting back and finally maybe being able to get some sleep has to be a good feeling too, I would imagine.
Yeah. When it's all done, and it's nice. It's nice to relax. And my wife finally going, okay, you're going to spend some time with me now. That's always good.
It's time for that, right?
Exactly.
Well, I sure appreciate you taking time out from all of the action to come over and talk with us. And obviously this is a quality event in the area, and in talking with people, this is the perfect venue because of we're in Eau Claire, Clearwater, and the logging history is so rich here that it just really makes sense for you guys to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. And the history and everything else, it's a perfect place. And it's just going to grow from here, so it'll be awesome.
So we'll see you next year?
For sure.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jamie. We're going to go roam, check out some of the action, show you some of these awesome sculptures that we're talking about.
This program was recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you'd like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.
Sir, can you tell me what you think about this competition? Hello? Hello?